Climb inside this cramped steel coffin and feel the weight of 45 tons pressing through narrow treads. Your hands grip cold metal controls that move like molasses in winter, while the temperamental Maybach engine roars behind you, ready to die at any moment. Welcome to the Panther, Germany's so-called superior tank, a machine that broke down more often than it fought, spending more time in workshops than on battlefields. Yet on paper it was terrifying. In December 1944, amid the snow-covered forests of the Ardennes, American tank crews in Shermans watched these German predators emerge from the mist. 45 tons of sloped armor and a high-velocity 75mm gun capable of killing a Sherman from over 2 kilometers away. Every Allied tanker had heard the stories. One Panther could take on 5 Shermans. Its frontal armor was nearly impenetrable, its long barrel a symbol of German engineering perfection. But what Allied mechanics would soon uncover inside these machines would shatter every myth about German tank superiority and redefine how we understand engineering in war. The Panther was born out of panic. In 1941, during Operation Barbarossa, Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union stalled when it encountered the revolutionary T-34. Its sloped armor and wide tracks shocked German commanders. Within months, a special commission was formed, and by May 1942, Mayenn's design for a counter T-34 tank was approved. The first Panthers rolled out in early 1943, promising speed, power, and invincibility. But from the moment they entered combat at Kursk, disaster followed. Engines caught fire. Final drives shattered. Panthers broke down before even reaching the battlefield. By mid-1943, dozens were abandoned not by enemy fire, but by their own crews, victims of their own complexity. Allied recovery teams found many Panthers intact, their engines cold, transmissions seized, fuel tanks still half full. The terrifying German weapon turned out to be a mechanical nightmare. Post-war evaluations confirmed it. The British tried operating captured Panthers and couldn't complete even standard trials. The French Army, running extensive tests between 1946 and 1950, concluded the Panther's weakest point was its final drive, with an average life of just 150 kilometers, less than 100 miles before catastrophic failure. Hitler's insistence on heavier armor and a bigger gun had pushed the design far beyond what its drivetrain could handle. The original gearing, meant for a 35-ton tank, was now moving 45 tons of steel, and the result was predictable. Broken gears, locked transmissions, and tanks stranded in the mud. Meanwhile, the Sherman's drivetrain ran for thousands of kilometers with minimal issues. The Panther's powerful Maybach engine, rated at 690 horsepower, was equally unreliable. Chronic overheating, gasket failures, oil leaks, and engine fires plagued every unit. Fuel pump breakdowns caused multiple total losses at Kursk. Some Panthers burned out before even leaving their transport trains. To prolong engine life, German engineers had to reduce its maximum speed from 34 to 28 miles per hour. And even then, average lifespan remained only around 1,000 kilometers. Its turret rotation depended on engine speed. If the motor stalled, the turret froze. A Sherman's electric traverse, by contrast, worked even with the engine off, allowing constant response time. Inside, the Panther's crew worked in darkness and confinement. The loader's position was awkward and dangerous, ammunition scattered in hard-to-reach racks. In the Sherman, everything was logically arranged, designed by engineers who built cars. Intuitive, simple, and efficient. By early 1945, complaints from American crews reached Eisenhower himself. Reports from the 2nd Armored Division admitted that German tanks had superior guns, armor, and optics. But the Sherman's secret weapon wasn't its firepower. It was the system behind it. The Sherman could be built faster, repaired easier, and replaced endlessly. Between 1942 and 1945, The United States produced over 49,000 Shermans. Germany produced just 6,000 Panthers, many of which never reached battle. By late 1944, Allied bombing crippled German factories, spare parts production dropped below 10%, and Panthers had to be cannibalized to keep others running. By March 1945, only 49% of all Panthers were operational. American doctrine never expected the Sherman to duel Panthers head-on. Medium tanks were meant for mobility, not slugfests. Tank destroyers, artillery, and air power handled enemy armor, while Shermans supported infantry and exploited breakthroughs. The system worked. In less than a year after landing in Normandy, Allied forces advanced from the beaches of France to Berlin, against supposedly superior German armor. Panthers and Tigers were deadly, but not sustainable. A tank that can't reach the battlefield, that breaks down after 100 kilometers, or runs out of fuel before a fight, provides no combat power. Reliability, logistics, and maintainability mattered more than armor thickness. The Sherman embodied those principles. It was built for the realities of war: easy to fix, easy to drive, and fast to produce. Spare engines, transmissions, and tracks followed every division. Damaged Shermans could be repaired within hours, while a disabled Panther might sit for weeks or be abandoned altogether. Shermans featured multiple escape hatches, wet ammunition storage to prevent fires, and logical crew layouts. When hit, crews often survived. The Panther offered no such mercy. Its interleaved road wheels froze solid in mud and snow, while its cramped interior trapped men inside burning wrecks. Germany's obsession with technical perfection doomed its armor program. Hitler demanded thicker armor, longer guns, and heavier tanks, pushing the limits of what German industry could produce. Meanwhile, American factories like Ford and Chrysler used standardized parts and automobile-style assembly lines. A transmission from one factory fit a hull from another. Mechanics with basic automotive experience could repair Shermans anywhere in the world. Training a new Sherman crew took 13 weeks. Training a Panther crew took far longer. As the war dragged on, German crews grew younger, less skilled, and less able to handle their temperamental machines. Fuel shortages and logistical collapse sealed the Panther's fate. Its massive fuel consumption made offensive operations nearly impossible. Many Panthers were abandoned not from battle damage but because they simply ran dry. The Sherman, though thirsty, could be supplied through the massive Allied logistics system, the Red Ball Express, delivering thousands of tons of fuel and parts daily. American divisions could replace losses continuously. The 3rd Armored Division lost over 600 Shermans in Europe, but remained fully operational because replacements arrived faster than the Germans could destroy them. The results were clear in battle. At Aracourt in September 1944, Lieutenant Colonel Creighton Abrams's Sherman Battalion destroyed 55 German tanks, including Panthers and Tigers, while losing only 14 of their own. Tactics, mobility, and combined arms coordination triumphed over German firepower. In the Ardennes, small American units using improvised Shermans and M36 tank destroyers halted elite SS Panther battalions, not because their tanks were better, but because their system worked. After the war, history delivered its verdict. The Panther vanished from service, its design flaws too deep to fix. No post-war tanks borrowed from it. The Sherman, however, fought for decades, upgraded, adapted, and exported to over 24 nations. Israeli Shermans battled Soviet T-55s and T-62s as late as the 1970s, 30 years after the Panther had vanished. That alone tells the story. The Panther was a marvel on paper, powerful, fast, deadly, but brittle. The Sherman was never the best at anything individually, but it was good enough at everything that mattered: reliability, logistics, crew safety, and production. In war, perfection is the enemy of effectiveness. Germany built an engineering masterpiece that couldn't survive its own brilliance. America built a practical, repairable, mass-producible machine, and won the war because of it. The lesson transcends World War II. Wars are not won by the most advanced weapon, but by the best system, the one that works, that lasts, that can be sustained. The Panther was the triumph of design over practicality. The Sherman was the triumph of function over form. The tank that, through reliability and logistics, crushed a superior machine and helped end a global war.